What a finish it was for the McKinney Boyd Broncos against Plano last week. A dramatic comeback win in the fourth quarter. I'm joined by their head coach, Don Drake, and it was one of those games, one of those moments that is just so special for a team and such an important win, too, in this district.
No doubt. I mean, the win was huge. It was an exciting finish. You know, it's one of those that's going to make memories for those kids for a long, long time, and for our coaching staff as well. It's one we'll remember for the rest of our career and further. And so just really proud of the kids, excited at the fact that they just kept believing and kept playing, and we needed to make a play, and we made a play when it mattered the most, and we're able to get the victory.
Before we get to the highlights, I wanted to ask you about that final play. It was a 97-yard touchdown pass from Curtis Ladd to Dedrick Scrivens. And with 1 minute left, no timeouts, you're backed up at your own 3. When that play happened, what was the emotion like on the sideline?
Oh, it was unbelievable. You know, whether it's in the press box with coaches jumping up and down, or, you know, the kids running down the sideline and coaches running down the sideline excited. It was just a very, very emotional time for us, you know, as a program. And then, you know, I'm really proud of Cameron Powell and the fact that within all that emotion, we run the extra point team out there, because now it's a tied game and we need that point to get the victory. And those guys did a great job protecting up front. He knocked it through the uprights and gave us the win. So, you know, very proud of them being able to contain themselves at that very important time and knocking that thing through.
Let's take a look at those highlights. And it starts out with a good drive to open up the game. Cameron Powell ends up having a 29-yard field goal to give you a 3-0 lead early in this ballgame.
Yes, he did, and that was a huge kick. And this is the start of that drive. Curtis scrambling there for a first down for us. You know, we break off a nice run right here by Dedrick to put us down there into the red zone, and then Cameron's able to finish that drive with this field goal, which was huge. We knew it was going to be a very hard-fought game. It was going to be a very close game. I touched on that last week, that every time we've lined up against them, it's been a tight ball game. So every point matters. So the fact that we can line up and kick a 29-yard field goal and give us a 3-0 lead at that time was critical.
We talked about last week this team, Plano, that you wanted to stop them on first down. You wanted to create some long distance to go situations for them. And your defense really did a nice job of that all night long.
I was very proud of our defense. I thought we did a really good job of managing their running game and putting them in some down and distance situations that they had not been in a whole lot throughout the course of the season so far. Broke on the ball well, made some plays through the air. You know, we created some turnovers. Unfortunately, some of those we didn't get credit for. This is one that we did. We stripped the ball out right there and were able to recover it, which was huge because they had put a pretty good drive together, and we were able to get the ball back and keep them out of the end zone.
Panhands, their quarterback for Plano, only 5 of 16 in this game. The secondary really stepped up in a huge way, and also the front line putting so much pressure on them.
I agree, you know, and we knew that if we got him in long yardage downs, it was going to put some pressure on him to go complete some passes. I thought we did a good job of that. They didn't have a ton of success through the air, which ended up being huge for us in the game.
Plano later ties up this game in the second quarter with a field goal, and then on a 4th and 6 at your 29, Plano decides to go for it, and the one time Panhands did beat you, a 29-yard touchdown pass.
Yes, he did, and put him in the lead at 10-3 until this play happened off the tip ball to Brandon Bowling, who ran it all the way in for the touchdown to tie it up at 10-all.
That play snuck up on us there in the highlights. What a play it was for Curtis, first of all, to scramble out of that pressure. He could have easily been brought down near the goal line, and then, you know, reaches back and just heaves it downfield, and the deflection, you know, Bowling, right place, right time.
Yeah, no doubt. Brandon had a big night. This was his interception there in the end zone, which we took back 102 yards for a touchdown. Unfortunately, it was negated due to what the official believed was a pass interference call. So that was unfortunate. That would have given us a 17-10 lead going into the half. Instead, the penalty ended up giving them a field goal opportunity, which they made, and made it 13-10 their favor going into halftime.
Yeah, with no time left, Plano kicks a field goal. They have an edge going into the second half, but you start out well in the second half, getting a stop, and then coming back down the field. And once again, Dedrick Scrivens, as we'll see on this drive, it was a lot of tough runs. Curtis starts it off, and then a lot of tough running up the middle of the field.
No doubt. Went into halftime, told the kids, hey, we're in a battle. We told you it was going to be that. We've got to get a stop here to start the second half, and we've got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone. Our kids went out and got a 3-and-out, got the ball back, drove down the field, punched the ball into the end zone to take the lead back 17-13. That was crucial.
There's a 12-yard touchdown run from Dedrick Scrivens, and this isn't an easy team to run against, Plano. They're very physical, but Dedrick was shaking off a couple of those tackles.
You know, he ended up with 91 yards, I believe, on the night, which is above their average coming into the game. They'd given up, I think, 58 yards per game on the ground. And so, you know, we were able to run the ball, not as well as we did the week before, obviously, but again, they're a quality squad. They do a great job defensively, and we knew it was going to be a tough night offensively. We were going to have to make sure we didn't turn the football over, take some opportunities when we had the chances to do so, and again, just really proud of the kids and the fact that they just kept playing and kept fighting.
Plano scored a touchdown to lead 20-13 in the middle of the third quarter. Then the fourth quarter, they had a field goal to go up 23-17 with about 3:55 left. At that point, you know, you have to get the ball back. You have to move it downfield. Unable to do so at first. What did Plano do well against you defensively in this game?
Well, they played a lot of press man coverage on us, and you know, really made it difficult for us to get some of the throws that we're accustomed to making. You know, we ended up with the ball late in the game there with a chance to drive down and score to take the lead. We ended up coming up 1 yard short on a fourth down pass that we completed, so it was unfortunate. We ended up having to punt to give the ball back to them, turn it over on downs, and we had a couple of timeouts left, so we got them on first down, got them on second down, and then fortunately for us, they ended up throwing the ball on third down when we had no timeouts and killed the clock for us, which set up this opportunity.
This is the big play.
Yeah, we had the ball on our own 3, 97 yards to go with a minute and 11 left to play. And Curtis finds Dedrick there, and Dedrick catches the ball and then outruns them all to the end zone to set up the extra point right here by Cameron Powell, kicking it through to give us the win.
And how often do you see place kickers miss, you know, an extra point like that, especially after a big play? But Cameron came up and was, you know, ice cold, stay as can be. He
was. He did a great job, and the defense went back out there, and we got that sack there on second down. The sack here by Ross Matisic on third down left them fourth and long with very, very little time left because they had no timeouts at this point either. He heaves one downfield, and Brandon Boland gets the second interception of the night to end the game there, and fortunately he got credit for that one. So Brandon had a huge game. Obviously, if he'd have gotten credit for the 100-yard return, it would have been an even bigger ball game, but really proud of him as a sophomore stepping up in a huge ball game and making some plays for us.
You win 23-24. Curtis Ladd in this game was 7 of 13 passing, 224 yards. Now, 186 of that 224 came on just 2 plays, but you could care less about that.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter. I mean, stats are for other people. We're worried about what happens in the final win column there, and however you got to get the victory is how you get it. And so, you know, the fact that he was 7 of 13 for 225 and most of it came off 2 plays, you know, they're playing man coverage. And so if we get an opportunity, we're able to make that play, you know, and so those turned into big yardage plays for us, fortunately, through the year.
This Plano team came into the game just a little bit over 150 yards per game they allowed total to teams, and you put 319 yards on the board against them. How much confidence does that give your offense going into the rest of the season, and then most likely now the postseason, that against a top defense that you can put up those type of numbers?
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't our best offensive night, no doubt, but again, they are a very quality squad, and we were able to put more yards up than what they've been giving up throughout the season. You know, our kids need to understand sometimes you're going to play people like that where it's going to be tough sledding for you offensively, and you just got to keep working, and you got to keep going and keep trying to execute, and then eventually, hopefully, something breaks for you, and fortunately for us, it did on Friday night.
Another neat stat I noticed is that Plano ran 66 plays in this game. You only ran 38 on offense, so your defense was out there much more than your offense, and this is a Plano team that loves to bleed the clock down. I mean, got to give it to the defense, you know.
Oh, the defense did great. They were on the field quite a bit, had to get some stops, got some key stops, particularly at the end of the game when we didn't have any timeouts and we had to get the ball back if we wanted to have any hope of winning the football game. They went out there and got the stop we needed to get the ball back to us with that a minute to play. So very proud of their effort, very proud of their performance, and just really proud of the kids and the program for being able to pull through.
You have Allen coming up next week. in Allen. It's the first trip to Allen's Eagle Stadium, and it's one of those 15,000-seat stadiums. They got some nice landscaping in front of the locker rooms. Important for your kids going into that stadium to enjoy it for about 2 minutes or so when they come out for warm-ups and they get focused for the game.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be a great environment. I mean, the fact that we're both 2-0 in district, and whoever comes out winning this football game is going to have the lead in the district race with 2 games to play. So it's a big night. It's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be exciting atmosphere. It's a beautiful stadium. It's our kids' first time opportunity to play in that stadium. So, there'll be a lot of things that could be distractions for our kids if they let them be. But we've got to focus more on us, and it's not about Allen. It's about the Broncos, and the Broncos getting better every day in practice and continuing to improve and do the things that helps you be successful, which is playing together and executing.
Allen, of course, has a lot of hype around them. They're the defending state champions. They're #1 team in the state again this year. And it's a situation where every Texas high school football fan is not going to think that you have a chance in this game. The only people that really believe that you can win this game is your coaching staff and your players in the locker room.
And that's perfectly fine with us. That's not going to be the first time we've been in that position. We find ourselves in that position in this district quite often. There probably weren't a lot that thought we'd beat Plano West a couple of weeks ago when we did. There were several that didn't think we'd beat Plano Friday night, particularly those that left the game with a minute to play and were clearing the stands before it was all over. But the reality is all that doesn't matter. What matters is what our kids and our coaches believe, and we're going to prepare this week, and we're going to go out there and play a great game on Friday night.
Never leave the game early, by the way, fans. It always happens that you always leave too soon. There's always something that happens. Kyler Murray's the quarterback for Allen. He had a couple of highlight reel plays against you guys last year. He has over 1,700 yards passing and over 500 rushing. He's one of those true dual threats. Is there any part of his game that you feel like is easier to stop than the other?
Well, he's talented. He's great in both, and they utilize him in both. Again, we've got to line up properly and be in the right position to be able to make plays. And we have to understand, too, when you play somebody as talented as Murray is and as talented as that squad is, they're going to make some plays Friday night. I mean, it's the game of football. They're going to make some plays. We've got to be able to refocus and to not worry about that part, be able to put it behind us, line up again, and keep playing the game. And if that's one lesson that we should take away from Friday night is that you got to keep playing. Regardless of what it looks like at that particular moment, you got to keep playing. You got to go try to make plays, and in doing so, you give yourself an opportunity for something special to happen.
Well, Coach, good luck to you against Allen this week and in that District 10 5A race.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Coach Don Drake from McKinney Boyd Broncos, 2-0 in 10 5A. With a win over Allen, they would improve to 3-0 and control their own destiny in the district. They're going up against a team that most people don't think they can win against. It'll be interesting to see if a team much improved from the start of this year can come up with the goods when it matters on Friday night in Allen. This week's Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week is Raul De La Rosa from McKinney North High School. Raul, a senior, is a place kicker for the Bulldogs football team. Raul has a 4.4 GPA and is involved in several school organizations, including the soccer team, HOSA, Blue Blazer Ambassador, and National Honor Society. Raul plans on pursuing a chemical engineering degree in college next year. That's Raul De La Rosa from McKinney North High School, our Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week. That concludes our episode for the week. Remember, on Thursday night, McKinney hosts Plano West in a must-win game. McKinney North cannot afford a loss to 13 4A cellar dwellers Greenville, who they play at Ron Post Stadium Friday night. McKinney Boyd enters 15,000-seat capacity Eagle Stadium to play the #1 team in the state. If the Broncos pull off the upset against Allen, they have the inside track to a District 10 5A title. Thank you again to all the football coaches for dropping by on today's show. We'll return next week with more McKinney ISD football talk and highlights. From all of us here at Sports Talk, I'm Tyler Sloan. Enjoy your week.